You know, sometimes a single game can feel like an entire season's worth of drama all rolled into one. We're going to dive into a matchup that was supposed to be a straightforward win, but oh man, it turned into something so much more. This is the story of Anthony Edwards' hero's return.
So this was the big question hanging in the air, right? Anthony Edwards had just been crowned the All-Star Game MVP in this very city. Was he about to come back to LA for a coronation? Or was the league about to hit him with a serious reality check? Let's find out.
Heading into this one, the story felt like it was already written. I mean, you've got one team that's just on fire, looking like a real contender. And on the other side, a team that's just trying to stay afloat. The whole thing was set up to be a blowout.
And you can see the mismatch right here on paper. The Timberwolves were red hot, winning 5 of their last 6. The Clippers, they were kind of in a free fall, losing 3 straight, and this is the big one, they were missing their superstar, Kawhi Leonard. All signs pointed in one direction.
So yeah, the script was all laid out. The hero returns and gets an easy win. But if you've been watching basketball for any length of time, you know it's rarely ever that simple. This game was about to take a really, really weird turn.
Okay, so after a pretty normal first quarter, the game just hit a wall. Both offenses completely, and I mean completely, seized up. What we saw next was one of the most bizarre, low-scoring quarters of basketball you will ever see.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? A rock fight. That's when both offenses are so ugly it looks like they're just chucking rocks at the rim. It was an absolute grind. It felt like the hoops had lids on them for both teams.
Just get a load of this number, 11. No, that's not one player's total. That's the entire Clippers team's output for a full 12-minute quarter. It's almost unbelievable.
And the Timberwolves, the team that was supposed to be running away with this thing, they weren't exactly lighting it up either. They managed to scrape together just 15 points. 15! And somehow that was the better performance of the two. You add it all up and you get 26 total points between two professional teams in an entire quarter of basketball. It was ugly. But here's the crazy part. Despite how bad it was, the Wolves were still ahead. But by not putting the game away right then and there, they left the door wide open for something crazy to happen.
And coming out of halftime, the shorthanded Clippers didn't just knock on that door, they kicked it right off its hinges. The whole feel of the game was about to get flipped on its head.
This is where you really see a team's heart, you know? They're missing their best player, their offense looked completely dead in the water, but they came out and just played with this incredible grit. They started hitting shots, getting stops, and totally flipped the script.
And there it is. By the end of the third, the Clippers had stormed all the way back to grab a 5-point lead. All of a sudden, the Timberwolves were the ones on the ropes, and their hero was being seriously tested.
But this is the moment that makes superstars. Trailing, on the road, with all the momentum going against you, Anthony Edwards looked at the situation and basically said, all right, that's enough. This is my game now.
Forget about that weird second quarter. Forget the Clippers comeback. The final 12 minutes of this game belonged to one man, and one man only. He put the entire team on his back and just refused to let them lose.
Yeah, he finished the game with 31 points. But it was that explosion in the fourth quarter that made all the difference. He was aggressive, he was confident, he was, for those final few minutes, simply unstoppable.
This was the play that turned the tide for good. A tough drive into the paint, a twisting reverse layup, and just like that, Minnesota was back on top. They would never give up that lead again. But Ant wasn't done. He saved his absolute masterpiece for the very end. And this was the dagger. It was pure art. Step 1, he gets the matchup he wants. Step 2, that signature step back to create just a sliver of daylight. Step 3, he rises up with not one but 2 Clippers flying right at him. And step 4, nothing but net. Game over. And that was it. That shot put the Timberwolves up by 4, and it just crushed the Clippers' hopes. It was a true superstar moment, sealing a really tough win on the road. So, after the dust settled on this gritty, dramatic game, what did the final numbers and the bigger picture really tell us?
The final box score really tells the story of that rock fight, doesn't it? Neither team shot the ball well at all, but just look at the top scorers. Edwards drops 31, while the Clippers' leading scorer only had 18. That's the difference a superstar makes. He basically carried his team's offense when they needed it most.
So what are the big takeaways here? Well, we learned for sure that Anthony Edwards has that clutch gene. We saw that the Clippers have a ton of heart, but without Kawhi, they just don't have that go-to guy to close out a game. And maybe most importantly for Minnesota, they prove they can win an ugly, grinded-out game. And every single championship contender has to be able to do that.
And so, this whole performance leaves us with one massive question. When you have a player who can single-handedly rip a victory away from an opponent like this, does that make his team the most dangerous squad in the entire Western Conference? The rest of the league is officially on notice.